Hey guys, it's JayzTwoCents and you're watching Tech Addiction. It's episode 3 and we got a lot of shit to cover today, so let's get started. So this week Samsung came out with a brand new Galaxy S Mini. It's got a 4-inch screen, got an 800 by 400 resolution, but there's no 4G on it, so pricing hasn't been released yet, but it's expected to be a bit more competitive than the iPhone. This is trying to directly compete with the iPhone competition and bring the pricing down a little bit. But without 4G in today's 4G world, I don't know who'd be interested in it. I wouldn't. I don't feel like taking 46 hours to download an app. Although I already do on my iPhone 4S because that's stuck on 3G. And the fact that I ordered my iPhone 5 2 weeks ago, they haven't even taken my money yet. So, I don't know. Anyway, this phone was put out to directly compete with the old 4S now that's been replaced by the iPhone 5 and the Galaxy S3, which is their flagship model and is a little bit too expensive for some folks. So if you don't need 4G and you don't need a super high resolution screen, this is probably the phone for you. So the courts in Korea put an injunction on the ruling against Apple that they infringed on Samsung's patents and vice versa. But turns out they went ahead and put a stay on that motion, so the iPhone and the iPad can temporarily be sold in Korea. But that right now is currently in an appeals court. So while that process is going on, it looks like you can still buy your famous iPhone and iPad products in Korea. But if you're in Korea and you want to get an iProduct, you might as well buy it now because I have a feeling that Apple's probably going to lose this one. CSNBC is reporting that a mysterious program that accounted for 4% of stock quotes and purchases bought in the stock market over the last week. And they say that this is some sort of a virus or maybe a computer program that somebody's testing out. But it turns out this program accounted for 4% of stock quotes and then immediately canceled them all. So one program accounted for 4% of total market share, and that was done from one computer. They estimate that over 500 stocks were actually affected by this, but could this be the beginning of Skynet? Could this be the beginning of total hacker domination? Who knows? But a lot of people believe that a lot of traders use these types of programs to give themselves a little bit of time to make a decision or buy and trade, and they kind of hold up the stock and then they release it when they want to buy it based on what the market does. So a lot of people think that it's probably some shenanigans involved there, but in either way, if one program can account for 4% and 500 stocks, he don't agree. That's bad. So there's some new real-time mocap and virtual reality technology out there where developers have wearing this suit on their arms, their head, their legs, their thighs, and they're moving around like a gorilla. And you got this gorilla doing this whole thing behind you. And they say this is probably the future of gaming. I think this guy looks kind of cool. This would be pretty neat in fighting games. Could you imagine, hey, I want to kick your ass. All right, bring it. I'll kick your ass too. Well, I'd slap on your virtual reality shit and let's go. Let's see what kind of moves you got. There's no pre-programmed moves or anything like that. I see this technology going in beautiful directions when it comes to fighting games. I don't think it would do very good in MMOs or, shooter games because people aren't going to be able to run around their house with a gun and stuff, Not to mention you're going to run into a wall. So I think it's kind of cool though. What do you think? But the sensors they wear translate very accurately, as you can see in the video right here, and I think this is probably the future of gaming. The forums I went to where I found this, a lot of people seem to be against it, but I find that's because they just want to sit in their ass in their chair and they don't want to get the up because they're lazy. Stand up. I'm standing up right now. Doing some exercises here. So Toyota, again, every week I seem to have something with Toyota. They got this new car they call the Toyoya INSECT, which apparently stands for Information Network Social Electricity City Transporter. It's got a top speed of 31 miles per hour, it's got one seat in it, and it's got doors that don't even close all the way to cover your legs. They're exposed on the bottom. But apparently it's got a social network hooked up to it. It connects to your iPhone, it connects to the cloud, it knows what kind of music you want, or connects to any phone really, I guess. But the weird thing about this car is that in the front of it there's a camera. And when you walk up to it, it immediately recognizes your face and it says, oh hey, you're so-and-so and you're my car. So beep beep, I'm gonna flash the lights at you, beep the horn and let you know, hey, I recognize you. But the weird part is if you wanna open the door, apparently you gotta flap your arms. So could you imagine, if you're walking up to your car and, hey, I wanna open my door. Because that is the key. Your face and your arms doing that opens the door. Really? This is where the future's going? Tiny little electric cars that only go 31 miles per hour? You got Billy Bob's 4-year-old tricycle behind you, bing, bing, get out of the way, motherfucker! It's like, I don't think, this isn't the way technology needs to be going, people. Besides, it looks like, a Rat 7 mouse or something. I don't really get it. I don't like it. I'm 6'4", I've never fit in a damn thing. Unless they're gonna come out with the giant Beetle edition. I'm never going to be able to ride one of these things, but I don't know. The cool part about it though is the fact that it apparently recognizes you, and when you get in, it says cool stuff. You know, hey, how are you? Where do you want to go? You're cool. You're awesome. We all love you. But apparently even the voice in the car will change based on your mood. I don't know how it's supposed to know your mood, but you know, when I get in the car, I want it to be like, hi Jason, how are you? But people always tell me I'm angry inside. So if I got in the car, I'd probably be like, what the f*** do you want? Huh? Fat ass, you're too fat for this car, get the f*** out. My car does that. It's not an insect.
Hi fat ass, how are you? What the f*** is wrong with you and your music?
So some public schools in San Antonio and a couple of other areas in Texas are under a lot of fire right now because they're apparently beta testing this software, and they're forcing their kids to wear RFID, or radio frequency identification chips, inside the students' ID cards. And they're expecting these kids to wear these at all times, either around their neck or in their pocket. But basically it's got a transmitter in it that will let staff know wherever this child is at any time. But one brave girl stood up to the school and said, no, you're invading my right to privacy. So I'm not going to conform to this. So what happens? She's not allowed in the cafeteria. They won't serve her food. She's not allowed in the library. She's not allowed to go to homecoming or to vote for homecoming prom king, or homecoming king and queen, or prom king and queen. But the superintendent writes a letter to the parents of the student and says that it's not mandatory, but that it will soon become mandatory, and that the repercussions of her not wearing this ID card are going to adversely affect her academic curriculum. I hope the parents fight this. I hope they take it all the way to court. I hope the San Antonio School District gets a hell of a fine out of this, because this is unconstitutional. If you're not from the United States, this is in the United States, so. But if you're not from the United States, you know, this just stomps all over your right to privacy. And I don't know about you, I'm a parent. I don't want somebody else having the ability to track my child. So I can't wait to see how this turns out, because I think San Antonio is about to have a serious lawsuit on their hands, and I hope they lose. Now this one's just got me all kinds of pissed. And if you live in America, your ability to sell and buy used items is in jeopardy. And I don't mean Alex Trebek jeopardy, I mean real jeopardy. There's this law in America that says that if you manufacture something, whether it be a DVD player, a CD, a movie, an Xbox, whatever, and I buy it from you as the person who manufactured it, or the retailer for that person, I have the right to resell it to whoever I want. And that's called the First Sale Doctrine. However, that doctrine is in some serious trouble right now, in the sense that there's a case that happened back in 1995 where a student came over here to upstate New York and went to Cornell University. It's from Thailand. And noticed that, holy shit, college books are expensive here. If you've ever gone to college, you know college books are fucking expensive. It's ridiculously expensive. So he goes, oh my god, these exact same books were available in Thailand for like a third of the cost. So what does he do? Mom, Dad, buy up all these books. Call grandma, call grandpa, call our 46 cousins, call, you know, everybody, call my friends. Have everybody send me money so I can buy these books. So he goes and he buys all these books. He has them buy all these books in Thailand and has them ship them to him. We're talking tons and tons of books. So he turns around and he sells them on eBay, makes $1.2 million in profit. So the publishers of this book, Wiley & Son, says, that's not fair. That's our money. And they took him to court. Said that it was copyright infringement. First of all, he bought and he sold it. So I don't know how it's copyright infringement. This guy from Thailand, his defense was the First Sale Doctrine. He said, hey, I bought it. It's mine to do with what I want. And if I was able to sell it for more than I bought it for and make money on it, that's too bad for you. You already made your money. Well, it turns out that this doctrine only protects things that are manufactured in the United States. But once again, if you're from the United States, you know nobody makes shit here. It's too expensive to make things here. Everything's made overseas, right? It's all made elsewhere. So he lost his case. It's back into appeals now. And basically, if this loses, and the First Sale Doctrine only protects things that are made in manufactured in the United States, what does that mean for buying and selling used cars? What about Craigslist, eBay, all the second product and third product market? What's going to happen to that? How many people are going to lose their jobs because nobody's going to go through the hassle of giving a cut or getting permission? The main part is you have to get permission from the manufacturer or the publisher to sell those items. That's bad, because what's going to happen is the things that are still being manufactured in the United States are going to be moved overseas, because they're going to want to get a cut of all the second, third, fourth, fifth sales as well. And there's no limit to how many times they get repaid on something that they've already been paid on. It makes no sense whatsoever, and those of you who buy and sell games at GameStop, no more, can't do it. Reselling a product on Steam sales, can't do it. That yard sale, can't do it. So I think you all should be watching this because there's not a single person watching this video who's never bought or sold something that's been used, and it's going to affect every single one of us. So this has really got me hot under the collar. I got no respect. So CNET is reporting on a brand new virus that's making its way around Skype, and apparently what it does is it holds your computer ransom. You get a random Skype from somebody or even possibly somebody you know, and it has an attachment with it, and if you click and open this attachment, it encrypts all the files on your computer and brings up this screen and says that your computer has been observed downloading torrents, child pornography, illegal drug activity, all of this illegal stuff, and is claiming to be the US federal government, the Cyber Protection Act or something like that, and says that they're going to charge you a $200 fine in order to get your files back, and you only have 48 hours to comply before they wipe all your files out of your computer. What they want you to do is they want you to go down to your local Walgreens or Rite Aid or Walmart and get money pack cards and scratch off the numbers on the back and type it in, hit OK, and then you've got access to your computer back. Obviously, this isn't a legit government thing, but it is a pretty interesting scam, and some people have reported that it truly did lock them out of their computer and they did lose everything when they didn't comply. So if you get an IM from someone you don't know on Skype, definitely don't click on anything that they send you, and even if you know someone on Skype and they're sending you a file, make sure you ask them what it is first and make sure they know they're sending you a file, because apparently Skype was sending out IMs with attachments while people were online and they didn't even know that they were sending them out. You know me on Skype and I send you a file, be like, hey motherfucker, what the f*** you sending me? I would do that to you. It's time for the way we end this show every single week with Technology's Dumbass of the Week. And this week, that is Brandy Rogers. You see, Brandy Rogers has a friend on Facebook that she's very envious of. Her friend always has lots of nice things, is going out to eat at nice places, has a nice car, and Brandy just thinks that that's f***ed up. So what does she do? She orchestrates an at-gunpoint robbery of her friend. So one thing led to another, her friend figured out that it was Brandy Rogers who orchestrated the whole thing, and meanwhile they're friends on Facebook the whole time. I would just like to go ahead and say, if any of you out there are criminals who watch me, and you use Facebook, probably shouldn't use Facebook, because there's a bit of a trend here. If you haven't noticed, Facebook is probably your worst enemy as a robber, especially if you're going to choose people to rob from your Facebook friends list. You might want to use the phone book. So anyway, Brandy Rogers decides a couple of days after the robbery to tweet where she's going to go to her nice fancy dinner about some newfound cash. So police go and arrest her there. So, as I said, if you're a criminal, don't use Facebook, because you're already a dumbass and you're even a bigger dumbass, especially when you're caught because of Facebook. Brandy Rogers, you're a dumbass. Alright guys, that's all I got this week. I gotta get out of here, but here are some other episodes of Tech Addiction if you haven't checked them out. And if there's something you want to talk about in next week's Tech Addiction, put it in the comments down below. I'll do some research about it and I'll talk about it. As always, follow me on Twitter, subscribe for more, and I'll see you on the next episode of Tech Addiction.